excited.
It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielson, Matt Kassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
Hey, good afternoon to you. Welcome to Two Guys and a Goalie. Today, it's zero of the guys. It's just Matt and the goalie. But brilliance between the two of us. The things that you and I, Gager, do in this office, what we solve, how we take care of everyone here, make the place smell great, cook for people, all of that.
It's amazing.
We deserve special recognition.
It is.
For how special we are.
Yeah. There's probably an SD coming our way, Maddie, with what we're doing.
I should create one and do that. like you bring everyone together with an F1 fantasy league. Round of clicks for the champ over here. Round of clicks for him. The two of us are always burning the candles here. We just take care of everyone.
Yeah.
And we've just got it covered. And then look, today we're taking care of Dusty because he can't do this. He can do the Nielsen show. He can do Lock Shop. But now he's got to rest his voice. So Gager and I will take you through the next hour of Edmonton Sports Talk because we've got you covered. We've got you covered. Welcome to all those listening on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in, iHeartRadio, YouTube, as well as wherever you get your podcast. It is Matt Iwanek and Joaquin Gage with you here on an Oiler game day. The Oilers are out in Minnesota to take on the Wild. It means the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola, Hernan Salas, and Joaquin Gage. Again, talking about just the brilliance of all of us and what we do. 5:30 right here on Edmonton Sports Talk as the Oilers and the Wild. It's the single game road trip for the Edmonton Oilers. Two hot teams meeting as well. I believe both teams. The Oilers are 7-3 in their last 10. The Wild are 7-2-1 in their last 10. So they just got that extra point because of the overtime loss. But two very hot teams meeting tonight. But before we get into this game, roster's the same, different goalie for the Edmonton Oilers, but they made some news. You ready for this?
Hold on, let me prepare for this.
We need the breaking news bit and stuff like that.
Okay.
Travis Dermott placed on waivers by the Edmonton Oilers. You have something there, Hernan, that you're going to press? There's also this. I don't know if there's anything on here we could press. I could do dough, but you'd have to. But anyways, Travis Dermott on waivers. Thoughts?
Well, I mean, it was a three-way battle for that kind of spot, I thought, and
Dermott. Sorry, Hernan's correcting us on the name pronunciation. I guess Travis Dermott.
It doesn't matter how much time you spend with your friends in the summer on their mastercrafts, because it did look like Travis spent some time with some Oilers and played with them as a kid too. I think they've been together a long time, so it always sucks to see a buddy go down. But for Dermott, and I think I heard, Maddie, that he's a right shot, correct? Or is he a left shot? I have to look it up. But the way that the defensive core looks in Bakersfield is there's a lot of right shots, and I think he's a left shot, so he'll come in if he does end up clearing. He would help out that lineup. I think just having
I wouldn't be shocked if someone maybe took a quick flyer. So it's not expensive, but also at the same time, I think like if I had to put odds on it, I'd say 75% he's down at Bakersfield.
I would say so too. I don't remember seeing a lot of all I'm seeing throughout the NHL right now is guys getting better and back into the lineup. So he maybe went through waivers at not the right time. But another thing that I'm looking at too that's quite interesting is JT Miller. One of the first ones out at Canucks practice day. Looks like he's going to be back into the lineup for the Vancouver Canucks, which is a good thing for that team. I mean, he's a whale of a player. But these questions of why he left in the first place. And, you hear rumors and things and that he's kind of a hard ass. But sometimes that's needed, that stern voice. Like it can get old, can rub guys the other way, but it wasn't affecting his play one bit. Just maybe the weight of the sea and trying to get everyone on the same page as him. It might have been a little bit difficult, but hopefully he can come back and be a big part of that team because he's enjoyable to watch.
Oh, for Canucks fans, with him and Demko, getting those two kind of back in line as you get into 2025.
Yeah,
it's a nice little, like, they survived. They got through the start of the season to be able to have, I know Miller was there to start this season, but getting those guys both back in the lineup. They're right now holding a wild card spot as the Flames have started to sputter a little bit. 4-4-2 in their last 10, so the Flames are the first team out of a wild card spot. As for the Oilers right now, they're third in the Pacific, while the Minnesota Wild, their team tonight, that their opponents tonight, first in the Central. And I just, listening to the morning show, I think one of their questions, I think it was 3 questions too many. When might we see Alec Regula? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. In the lineup, and I think Dusty's like, well, we'll find out if Travis Dermott's on waivers today or not, because this would kind of decide. I think now at some point soon, we're probably going to see Regula in an Oiler lineup. Otherwise, why are you picking him up and why are you waiving Travis Dermott?
Yeah. And Dusty alluded to it as well, just the fact that this is someone that Stan Bowman traded for, I believe. So there's some familiarity with this player. He probably wants to see what he can do in this lineup. But it looks like, from our good friend Bob Stauffer, that
tonight it's the same lineup.
Yeah,
for the most part.
Yeah, it's exactly the same. So Dermott is it Dermott or Dermott?
I have an NHL pronunciation guide I can go into and take a quickly look here.
I want to say Mott because I see Mott and all I think about is Mott's Clamato. So I don't know why that is. That might be an issue.
It depends how you want to look at it there. Okay, so I've got an NHL pronouncer that has sound to it. So let me get this sound up here and let's see what it says.
Travis Dermott.
Dermott.
Travis Dermott.
Why do they spell it like that then?
That's Jack Michaels once again being correct. Travis Dermott.
Dermott
is his name. But he's on waivers, so we might not have to be saying that name much longer.
Yeah. Morning skate. Do you want me to go through the lines?
I would love to go through the lines, but save the very last thing. Like, don't get there, because we'll get to it right away.
Oh, okay.
Forwards D's.
So we got McDavid between Hyman and RNH. Draisaitl with Podkolzin and Kapanen. Henrique with Janmark and Skinner. Ryan, Perry, and Brown. The D core remains the same with Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Stetcher, Kulak, Emberson, and last but not least is a surprise again for me, seeing Calvin Pickard get the start tonight.
Yeah, Calvin Pickard going in net. Why would you do this if you're Chris Knobloch? Do you have, like, is this a situation of you scheduled it? Like, this is a scheduled start from a while ago or something? Like, the thing is with Skinner is you look at there. To me, there was rightful criticism of Stuart Skinner to start this season.
Yep.
But you look at his play over the last, just go 5 games. It is unbelievable. It's outstanding. Why would you not keep going with that hot hand in this situation when it's not like you're dealing with a back-to-back or anything like that?
Okay, if I really look at it, so they're playing basically every second day except for that last one against Boston. Right?
Yeah, so they play tonight, they play Saturday, so day off tomorrow, Saturday, day off Sunday, play Monday, get Tuesday, Wednesday off, play Thursday, off Friday, then back-to-back Saturday, Sunday before their Christmas break. So right there, Pickard's getting a start and Skinner's getting a start in game 20 on December 21st, 22nd in some order. Mm-hmm. You're telling me that Skinner can't go 10, 12, 14, 16, 19. Those are just days in December. And then maybe 22nd. And then you get 5 days off.
Yeah, and maybe that's the reason that they are doing it in the first place. So, because if I look at this correctly, so if Pickard starts tonight, I would
Like, there's no reason for him to start again until the 21st or the 22nd against the Sharks or the Sens.
But maybe they just don't want him sitting for a whole week or more than a week.
Pickard,
right? I don't know. That's the only thing I can come up with, because then he'll probably play.
We got the Sharks. Play him against the Sharks. He shouldn't need a bunch of play to get ready to go against the San Jose Sharks. This Oilers team should be good enough to play in front of a goalie against the Sharks and just beat the San Jose Sharks in Edmonton.
I would love to see Stuart Skinner. I thought he would play all three of these games, to tell you the truth. Like, top.
Well, these are important games.
Important games, not only just because these are all teams that you can't say you probably, there's a good chance you might see these guys in the playoffs. All three of these teams, with the Wild, Golden Knights, and the Panthers eventually again. And there's something to it. Last game, when you looked at the stat line, and the numbers were not glowing for Stuart Skinner against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Like, they were very inflated numbers. Vasilevsky, not the best, but if memory serves, he was over a 9-0 save percentage, 909, I think it was what it was. And he had two great, unbelievable performances.
We're trying to do a show here.
And you haven't had success against a certain team, and now you did in a positive way, where I don't want to say he outdueled Vasilevsky, because I thought Vasilevsky could have gone either way. Who was the better goaltender? Dusty made it clear. Watching that guy is just poetry in net. But Stuart Skinner was awesome. He was really, really good, and you're just building that confidence going up against the top goalies in the league, right? So tonight's no different. You're facing a goaltender who is really, in Philip Gustafsson, who is really, really good right now. .927 save percentage, 2 shutouts. This guy is probably right now he's head for Vezina trophy voting.
Do want to go Penner's Pancake saying for most of us this game could be looked at as scheduled loss, and they play Saturday afternoon, so Stu can start that one against the Critical division rival. And maybe that's the difference here. Maybe it's just the fact that Saturday, it's not an 8 o'clock start, it's a 2 o'clock start. So it's a little bit of a quicker turnaround.
Maybe.
So maybe that's the little bit of a difference here. And then, you have him at home against the Golden Knights, which is more critical for your division as opposed to the conference.
Yeah.
But I think Skinner's good enough to handle both those. And I'd like to see him continue this, because the last 5 games, he's 4-1 and .947 save percentage. He's been the Stuart Skinner. Oh, he's been better than a Stuart Skinner that people would have wanted to see this season. Yeah, and I would like to see that continue, that hot hand get going, because tonight's not even a late game type thing, but it's 6:30 to 2. Okay, maybe that doesn't happen as much in the playoffs, but you have to play every second day of the playoffs anyways. There's a break coming here.
Yeah, but do you think because last year and the stumble against the Vancouver Canucks, that was part of the looking at the whole schedule this year, your goaltending tandem,
and making sure that solid Calvin Pickard starts.
Yeah, and just getting that rest early, during the 16-game winning streak, he played a lot.
Yep.
Right? So you've already got his game in a really good window. And the formula that they've kind of done has both guys playing really quite well. So
the one thing I'll say is that we'll hit, by the time December 14th rolls around, which is almost halfway through this month, he'll have only played 3 games in the month of December.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Going into game game 4 will be on December 14th for him. So it's I would like to see them roll with him a little bit more in this one, because I do see a Pickard start coming on the 21st or the 22nd, depending on how they want to do it. And I don't think going every second day with also a 2-day break on the 17th, 18th coming up is too taxing, or should be too taxing on Stuart Skinner. And because also the other thing we have to look at, because I was one of those guys last year that wanted more of those starts. He's not playing with Team Canada.
No.
So there is a big break coming in February. There are various breaks that have happened. They had that bye week, or that wasn't an official bye week a couple of weeks ago. They've got a long Christmas break this year. They've got the 4 Nations break. I don't know if like there's a lot of time for the rest before you get to the playoff push in the playoffs.
Well, and that's what we talked about a few episodes ago was why isn't he playing back to back? Oh, and the team hadn't been announced yet, right? So maybe this was the coaching staff going, hey, our guy could be at this thing, could be playing. We have to develop a schedule where we're giving him enough rest just in case. And maybe this, I'd love to know how far in advance they're
planning these out.
Yeah. And if it's 2 weeks, a month, I don't know. Like, I think that's depending on the goaltending situation, I guess. But to me, I've never been part of an organization where I was in a kind of a dual system, I guess you could say, or two guys battling for that number one spot where the coach laid it out for us weeks in advance. That it just never happened. It was always, they always kept their cards close to the chest. I didn't like knowing the morning of. The night before was usually better, but yeah, it's a different game now though.
Analytics, sports science, all of that goes into it. It's completely different. The Oilers going into Minnesota haven't won since February of 2019. They've lost 6 straight out of Minnesota. As tonight they'll take on the Wild, who. The thing that gets me is the fact that they're on top of their division. You know, like the Winnipeg Jets had such a great start to this season. They rattled off all these points. And the Wild have found a way to just stay consistent, stay right there. They're equal in points at the top of the Central, but the Wild have 2 games in hand on the Jets. So, like, I don't look at the Jets and be like, wow, they've really fallen off. I look at like, wow, have the Wild just stayed consistent and stayed, like, not too far that they were able to bounce. And that's a team. I don't know if you saw the rumblings from this week at Board of Governors. There's talk of we might see like the largest cap jump post-COVID. And they've got Kaprizov coming up soon, I think. But that they'll have to sign, and they'll be wanting that little jump.
Well, look back to a few years ago, and I thought Bill Guerin was crazy.
Me too.
When he bought out
those 2 buyouts were
there, and it's the last year now, Matty. So Zach
is it the last year of it?
Well, the biggest last year. So Zach Parise, Ryan Suter, both. It's almost a $15 million cap hit that comes off the books next year and goes down to 1.6 over the next 3. Like, so when I heard Bill Guerin I was going, "What are you doing, Billy? You're handcuffing yourself tremendously right now." And you look at their cap room now, they still have 1.2 of cap space. Like, he should be up for the GM of the Year award with how that team is doing and the position that he's put his team in, because I believe Kaprizov has 2 more years, correct? Like, he still has, he's got this year and next year before, same kind of thing, I guess, as Connor McDavid.
But they could sign him as of next summer, so you know kind of like, okay, if it has it's a significant jump for next summer, you also know that, okay, then there's probably even a little bit more room the year after when his contract would kick in. And it's just easier to plan how much you're allocating.
Like, these guys, they're going to be nasty, because if you go on to Puckpedia, the thing that
I miss
pops...
Cap Friendly.
I know.
Because I wanted to see the buyout history. I'm trying to find the past. Because their buyouts was like the first year they got very little savings. Then it shot up. And then it dropped. It's going to drop down. Yeah, here it is. So when they first got bought out, their cap hits were just shy of $2.4 million, which was a lot, but okay.
Yeah.
And then it immediately jumped up. It went to $6.3 million per person, of 7.3, and it's just like, you're not gonna be competitive, Bill.
Yeah.
How are you going to be good? You have all this dead cap space for these 2 players. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And instead, it's Bill Guerin. He's made it work,
and he's got arguably the best goalie in the NHL right now. Their decor, like Jared Spurgeon, is a phenomenal player. Jonas Brodin, a little bit older, right? They're probably going to be looking at solidifying their decor with maybe a few studs, but they'll have the cap room to do it. Like, they'll have it, right? So, I mean, the scary thing about when you look at their forward group is the amount of time that a lot of these really good players are all locked up for, right? That's the thing that really jumps off the page to me. The Minnesota Wild are going to be a good team for a while now.
Well, they kind of need that because their last playoff series win was in 2014-15 season. And in their history, if I'm looking at this correct, they have 4 playoff series wins, which includes their third year in the NHL. They went to the conference finals, so they won 2 playoff series. But since that third year went to the conference finals, they've only won 2 playoff rounds since.
Yeah. I think they'll probably win one this year. Yeah, right now, if it were to start now.
If it starts right now, it would be the Minnesota Wild taking on the Vancouver Canucks in the first round. Jets would take on the Stars. The Golden Knights would get the Avs. The Kings would get the Oilers. We'd get Oilers Kings again. Can we? No.
Oh, man.
No, I don't want it. Would you actually be? Would you be worried about the Kings this year if they
right
met?
now? Yeah, for sure. I mean, I just looked at the Kings' record. I think they're 8-2 and
they're 8-2 in their last 10. They've
10.
won 6 straight. They sit 2 points back of the Golden Knights for the top of the division.
Look, I thought they were completely going to fall apart with Doughty going down. I thought that was a pillar for them, and I was a little bit hesitant with their goaltending. We had a Kings reporter on a few episodes ago, and although I think Kemper's been, he is prone to injury, but Big Save Dave, the stick flipper, has been adequate. Very adequate.
He's 10-6. Kemper's 6-2 and 3, 6-2 and 3. That's one I'm hoping the Kings don't fully fall off because that's one I kind of predicted going into this year. In the summer, I felt like I'm not going to say their goaltending got great, but to me, they improved on goaltending from last year. That's the way I looked at it, and I went.
Even though Talbot was an all-star.
Yeah, but then he fell off. It's not someone that you're going to trust. And the Kemper, he's a guy that can, if healthy, when healthy, he can be a stabling force in that. Is he a guy that you're like, yeah, okay, this is a guy that's going to 100% lead you to Stanley Cup? No, but I felt that maybe they got a little bit better. Plus, the mindset mentally of those players, knowing that they're not playing the trap. They're not playing that type of...
Yeah.
How much does that just open them up to be more excited about going to the rink night in and night out, knowing that they're not just going to be playing this boring style of hockey? Like, I'm sure even as players, you want to play fun style. Like, as fans, you always want to watch entertaining hockey games, but you also just want to see your team win whatever games. And players, they want to go win, but I think they also want to do it a little bit in a fun way and not just playing this boring defensive trying to win 2-1, 1-0.
I think playing that way against a team like the Oilers, like someone that wants to play with a little bit more pace, you fall into a trap doing that. Like you're not putting pressure on the team, right? Their forward check, if it wasn't 100%, you could get in there, or with support, they weren't coming. Or maybe it's just Warren Fogel's 7 goals and 6 assists for 13 points plus 10. That's putting them over the top.
He's bringing. Maybe he was the magic secret sauce all along. Maybe he's going to be the difference maker if the Oilers. Hey, look, the trade's working out better for the Kings and the Oilers. And I know it's not. I'm just trade in the sense of the Kings signed Fogel, Arvidsson. No one knows where he is. Like right now it's looking better for the LA Kings. Yeah. So unless maybe Arvidsson's just waiting in the wings until playoff time when we get that Oilers Kings first round playoff matchup, what we all want to watch.
Yeah.
For a 4th year in a row. 2 Guys in Goalie, Matawanek, Joaquin Gage. 2 Guys in Goalie, presented by GS Construction, setting the industry standard for 50 years with quality, efficiency, and safety driving their success. GS Construction has a foundation built on teamwork, and now they want you to become part of their team. Visit gsconstruction.ca, click Ready to Work, or visit their page at Indeed.ca with the Next Person Up program at GS Construction. It's not just a job, it is a career. As we've mentioned, Oilers Wild 6:30 tonight out of Minnesota. Oilstream, GCL Diesel Oilstream pregame show. Tom Gazzola, Hernan Salas, Joaquin Gage, 5:30 right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Do you buy into trap games or like scheduled losses?
Sometimes you just look at the schedule and gosh, we're gonna be we're going to be dragging our butts around that time just for the volume of games.
Do you see this as a scheduled loss? Because some people, like we've already mentioned, Penner's Pancakes, scheduled loss. I do come across and believe in some scheduled losses. I don't know why tonight would be a schedule. Is it just because it's the 1-game road trip to? Is that like Penner's Pancakes? Why do you look at this one as a scheduled loss? I'm just very curious.
I don't see it. You look at who you playing on the last game of a 4-game road trip out east. That's kind of the one where guys are waiting to get home.
I look at back-to-back sometimes.
Maybe. Depends
depending on who
travel.
the games and stuff.
Yeah.
There was a game against the Devils where I saw that one as a bit of a trap game. The Oilers were in Calgary taking on the Flames. The next night they had the Devils. The Devils had already been in. They didn't have to play the night before. That to me there was a trap game. There was a scheduled loss.
Yeah, but I think this is an entirely different situation. And I know they haven't done well in Minnesota in a long time, but the fact that the Wild are a really good team, and as it looks now, they could be coming out of the Central. That's the team you would play in the conference final. So you have to establish winning in that building. You can't go, and you don't get too many kicks at this can. I would. The Oilers are playing really well right now, and I think there are some injuries on the Minnesota Wild, like Brodin's out on D. You have Zuccarello that's on long term, and Joel Eriksson-Ek, who's just an Oilers killer, is also on the IR. So if there's any game that looks good for the Edmonton Oilers to take advantage of with some key personnel that aren't playing for the Minnesota Wild, this is their chance and winning in that building. Because who knows? Just always have your eye in the future a little bit. I know they all talk about staying in the moment and things, but you want to feel good about going into a rink. You don't want the other team to just have that feel of dominance over you.
I appreciate Penner's Pancakes did respond. Says I look at the Wild being the Oilers' kryptonite. That's all. Kind of like when I see the Oilers play the Preds. I expect a win against the Wild and Mini. I do anticipate a loss, and that I fully understand. That I understand the trepidation any Oiler fan would have when they see their team out in Minnesota. Because again, I think we said it. 2019, the last time the Oilers won, 6 straight losses in Minnesota, and I think even that win in 2019, it wasn't like they'd rattled off 4 straight or something like in Minnesota. They do have their tough time out in the Twin Cities.
They do.
Do you know who didn't have a tough time in the Twin Cities?
Who?
Joaquin Gage.
That's right. I treated that place like Fargo, my wood chipper. Isn't that where Fargo was? No, maybe it was,
Fargo was
South Dakota.
It's in the Dakotas.
North Dakota. Yeah, whatever.
That doesn't matter. It's the same. Career against Minnesota, 2-0. 881 save percentage. 346 goals allowed average, but you got the wins.
That's right. It was a different game back then. Last goal wins.
Well, higher scoring and stuff. 2-0. Who else? Were you undefeated against anyone else?
I don't think so.
Vancouver Canucks.
Oh, Canucks.
You're 1-0 in 2 games played against the Vancouver Canucks.
1-0. When did I? Oh, I probably went in one game.
Yeah, it must have been just in relief or something like that. But yeah, so you've got, you could always say the Vancouver Canucks never beat you, and you've always been the Vancouver Canucks, and you can say that about the Minnesota Wild.
Yeah, and I won more games in Rexall than Carey Price. I remember that.
He struggled against the Oilers, and he struggled at Rexall Place.
I remember because I think, I don't know, I think I was coming on the old show. Like Dusty said, hey, you want to come on? And I was coming on, I go, what am I going to, I have to have something to crow about. And the Habs were playing. It was the last year in Rexall. Carey Price was winning, and I was so happy the Oilers won that game. And more wins than Carey Price here.
Carey Price, this all-time great goalie.
Oh,
career against every hockey team. I just go save percentage. Only one team does he have a below 900 save percentage against.
Serious?
It's the Edmonton Oilers. He had an 881 save percentage against the Edmonton Oilers in 17 games. Like not even like 2 games. A big sample size. 17 games. He was 6-9-1, 881 save percentage. The next closest was the Ducks he struggled against. They had a 900 save percentage, or he had a 900 against them. And then the Sharks and the Stars both had a 904 save percentage. Oh, the Avs also had 903. But everyone, he had a save percentage of 900 or better.
wow.
except the Edmonton Oilers, and it wasn't close. It was an .881 save percentage. They always had his number, which was something else.
Talk about a fantastic goalie. I've said this before, but it was we had a alumni skate the one game, and Montreal was in, so we were there early, and I was watching Carey Price just warm up, and we talked about how Vasilevsky out the ease that he moves around, like he makes it look so easy. And Carey Price was a pretty big dude too, like 6'3", maybe just under 6'4", but it was just so effortless the way he moved around in the crease, and just it was amazing. It was just absolutely amazing. So sad that I don't know, is his career cut short?
It was cut short.
Yeah,
there was no with injury. He's 37 right now.
yeah, that's.
He last played in 2021-22. Yeah. So you're, what is there, 22, 23,
bubble,
23,
right?
24, 24, 25. So this would be 3 years removed. Goalies can easily play into their 37. Like Marc-Andre Fleury is 40.
Yeah.
And he's still playing.
Yeah.
Price could have kept playing. So just no, he's 100% one that you could sit there and say.
He would.
He lost at least 2 years.
You know how we say
something.
guys like that play a long time? Like always comes to mind is Jason Chimera. The reason why he could play so long is because he could skate so well. Like he could still keep up and was one of the fastest guys. That's the same thing with Carey Price. That's probably what you'll see with Vasilevsky too, if he doesn't get worn down with the amount of work that he has. But just they're so good on their skates and effortless that they can last a lot longer.
How did a guy like Kipper play so much in a season?
Well,
because he was still even like a little bit of an outlier for even in that era a little bit with how many, like he was 70. Did he do 72 games 1 year or something like that?
I think he did 72, yeah. Kipper was. Those guys, there's not many of those guys around anymore, just workhorses.
He did. So here's his time in Calgary. 76 games started, 76 games started, 71 games started, 71 games started, 68 games started, then 24 games started. That's ridiculous.
It is absolutely nuts. And then when he retired, I remember it was like, well, what are you doing? Why is he retiring? Like he's exhausted, man. I hate to say it, but I was kind of, you were obviously pulling for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. I did not want to see the Calgary Flames win.
I know.
A young Matthew born in Edmonton cheering for the Oilers. I do honestly believe that was not a goal. Jelena did not score. I do believe that. I remember ABC did like some sort of graphics and it was in the air. But I was so glad that didn't happen. And I was so worried going into Game 7.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, come on, Tampa. I can't have the Flames win this. Ruslan Fedotenko, we owe you. As a city, we owe you.
He was so good.
Were you cheering for for Kipper?
No, I was cheering for Jerome.
Okay, fair enough.
One thing that always bugged me, and this is across all sports, but when the greats don't win the big one, and I consider Jerome again one of the best hockey players, like Hall of Famer, right? I hate to see him not win one. And after that, and Calgary starts rebuilding, it was sad to see him chase it. Going from Colorado to LA and trying to find a team and just not getting it done. He should have been a Flame his whole career, I think.
Moral of the story is just don't play for the Flames. Somebody did text in, Troll saying Brodeur used to play a ton of games every year too, Luongo as well. I'm just looking at Brodeur. He did start 77 1 year. He started 76 1 year. They didn't keep track of games started on, or at least on Hockey Reference, pre-2006, 2007. But yeah, he was up there as well. I loved it. Brodeur was the goalie I loved.
Oh, did you?
Yep. I loved watching him play. Was always cheering for him. And then maybe the soft spot came because of 2002, because he came in net for the Olympics after Cujo had the poor first game, and he led Canada to our first gold in 50 years. Yeah. Which was exciting.
Yeah, that was the whole turnaround of goal. Because I think before, Patrick Waugh was the goalie, and then Cujo came in for him, right? Then Cujo played, and then Brodeur took over for him, and then in 2010 there, Brodeur was the goalie, was he?
He started, and then it was like reverse. He stumbled, and
Luongo came in,
and the rest was history there.
Yeah.
And then Carey Price took over in 14 in the net.
I was really worried about that for some reason.
Were you?
Yeah, I don't know why, but I just
Mike Babcock. That one was boring hockey for Canada. He created a machine and was like, "We're going to win 1-0." And they were a machine, and we just rolled to 2014. 2010 was a lot more exciting. But when you look at when NHLers players have been there have been 5, I think. Nagano, Salt Lake, Torino, Vancouver, and Sochi. Canada's won 3.
Yeah. Czechs and
Czechs won 98.
And Swedes?
I think it's the Swedes in 06.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Swedes.
So like we're winning it next year. We're just too good. We're too good. I'm not worried one bit at all. Some people are. Yeah, it was Sweden. The funny thing too is when Canada doesn't do it, like we just don't medal.
I know. Yeah.
We've got gold and that's it. If it's we don't want anything else.
We don't want the cookies.
We don't want anything. We don't want any participation ribbons. We're there to win the gold. If we're not winning the gold, we're flaming out.
Do you think Russia gets allowed into the Olympics?
I'm wondering about that because...
Or do they go in as...
Well, the Olympics, what we have seen for a number of Olympics now for various reasons. It's been steroids was the starter, PEDs and all that. We had the international athletes of Russia or whatever it was, however they worded it. I wonder if that's what will happen here. If this will be like, I don't know how you can allow, if you allow Russian athletes to compete at a Winter Olympics in all sports, other sports, how do you not allow them to compete in hockey?
Yeah.
That's the part that I like. Personal preference for me, I don't want to see them at the Olympics at all. I don't think any of that. And then this goes further to just the whole doping scandal 14. There's a lot of things. I've never felt they've got real punishment for what they have done. But if you're going to be, say, no, you can go ski, you can go figure skate, you just can't represent with the flag on you, then how do you say that you can't do it if you're a hockey player?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I don't think there should be participation until things are worked out over there, and it was supposed to be 3 weeks, but now it's 3 years.
Need to get hired or fired? Brought to you by GS Construction. GS Construction. Hiring now. Become a part of their great team today by visiting gsconstruction.ca or their page on Indeed.ca. For the past 50 years, the foundation of GS Construction, built on efficiency, quality, safety. Take your career to the next level. Join the team at GS Construction. Matt Iwanek, Joaquin Gage with you here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Okay, so I was looking at the standings here. You've got the Minnesota Wild. They are tied atop their division with the Jets, but they have games in hand, so they sit atop the Central Division. The Edmonton Oilers, they sit third in their division with 34 points. They are 5 points back of the Vegas Golden Knights. Hired or fired, the Oilers have how do I want to word this? The Oilers have the better chance of winning their division over the Minnesota Wild. Hired or fired? Oof. You've got the Wild, you've got the Jets, you still got the Stars and the Avs, though they are 8 points back of the Wild. You got the Golden Knights, you got the Kings, you got the Oilers, you got the Canucks, and I'm taking the Flames out of this.
So, Colorado, I'm going to fire it. Actually, I think it'll be harder. It'll be harder for Edmonton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For sure. Can I just get to one thing I saw real quick?
Go for it.
Caught my eye. Is
This is more your show than mine.
Penner's Pancake says, he states the obvious here. Coliseum Steak and Pizza is an underrated restaurant. No, it's one of the best restaurants in the city. It's lasted so long.
And they don't change inside.
They don't change, man. Back in 95, 96, when I lived at the Forum Inn, I frequented Coliseum Steak and Pizza almost on a daily basis to eat. And it's funny now because my daughter dances at the Agricom at times, and I can't wait to get back into Coliseum Steak and Pizza. I walk in, it's exactly the same. And I don't know what, maybe it's the old taps that were in Rexall, but you have a draft beer there. It's a little bit colder. It's a little bit,
They got the crack beer.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. And the spaghetti and meatballs, come on.
Truthfully, I've actually only been there once.
Really?
And it was amazing. My one buddy's like, you have to go. And we went after a golf round and we headed out there and we had the steak. And it was I don't know why don't go more often.
Yeah.
It's fantastic because the food is great and they haven't tried to change it. They haven't want to be the TikTok, Instagram and get people be like, oh, there's a hole in the ground here where it's called it seems. No, they are just what they are. And if you drive by them like, I'm not going in there, you're missing out.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you've never been, it's go for at least once.
Yeah, go with a bunch of people, and what I would suggest is pick, one thing. Everyone pick something different off the menu because the food there is fantastic.
That's where we should have went tomorrow.
Should have went there.
I have to remember that one for next year or something. Big Uke, yeah, you know what I was saying. Well, of course the Oilers have a better chance to win the Pacific Minis and even their division. You know what I meant? Winning their respective divisions.
Yeah.
Oh, Uke. He was in here yesterday. It was great seeing you, Big Uke. He got to watch me lose crib to Jay.
Oh, yeah, you should have seen Matty yesterday. It was
I've lost the last 2 games I've played at Jay and crib. They've been stunning losses. Like even Jay is surprised that he's gotten those wins to a degree because they were crushing loss and there's nothing I could do. Those are tough losses. The ending of it. Oh, okay, yeah, says the guy who's too scared to do a draft today.
I thought Connor looked bad after Game 7. You should have seen Matty yesterday afternoon. It was tough.
So we have 5 people on our board for the crib. Jay's number 1. He's 5-0. Jay's crushing it.
Really?
Yeah. Jay, have you just played me?
No, I played somebody else.
Okay, I guess Jay played someone else. Trev's up there. Reed's up there. Jay, Trev, Reed, and Hernan's up there. Hernan's not even played, and I'm up there, so there's the 5 of us. We've moved me down to 8th in the power rankings out of the 5. So I'm 8th out of 5.
Let me ask you this. For a real Calgary hater, do you think they're going to fall off?
I think they're starting to.
4-4-2 in the last 10.
They've dropped just outside of a wild card spot. I remember a few years ago, it was the Ducks with Dallas Aikens. They were playing well up until, I think, January, where there was a surprise. And then the wheels fell off. The Coyotes last year were good until it was about mid-January. But then the reports came out about a potential move. Oh. And the wheels completely came out from under them. I think the Flames had a great start to the season.
They did.
They were unbelievable. But that's not who they were. And I think that now, 82 games is a long season.
You make a great point there because I think their style of play was the reason why they were so successful. But it's kind of like they're playing playoff hockey in early, right? So it's just not sustainable until you get to that.
And Vladar and Wolf, are they good enough to keep carrying the Flames?
They talk like I've seen Dustin Wolf play twice. He's been really good. Well, one game good, one game he kind of got torched a bit. But I mean, they're talking about him being considered for the Calder. So,
but I think a little early to
it's early
to carry a team all the way. There is a growth process, right? And that's a long schedule. Now, they've split the games rather well. I was just looking. I think it's 14-14. 15 games played for Vladar, 14 for Wolf. So they're splitting it up nicely. Mm-hmm. But it's a long 82-game season. I think, the fact that they're now sitting on the playoff spot, I think you're just going to keep seeing them dropping a little bit more. I won't be surprised by that.
I just I asked that because Nanso and I were talking about it yesterday, just with the fall of the Nashville Predators.
Well, I just hired or fired. Okay. Steven Stamkos will be a member of the Preds after the deadline.
Fire it. They got to do something. One of these big pieces of theirs has got to go.
What happened? How do you go from making all these moves where your preseason, favorites to be one of the top teams in the West, this great additions, to you're sitting currently at the bottom of the National Hockey League. You are below the Blackhawks right now in the standings. You're below the Ducks. You're below the Sharks. You are last place in the National Hockey League after a summer where you made all these moves and everyone was proclaiming this team got better.
Yeah. The mixture just isn't right somehow. they can't find good chemistry with this team. I don't know what it is, because I mean, you look at the personnel that they have. They should be way more competitive than they are. Although their PK is first in the league at 87.1%, which is
they have a good special teams.
18.
I think their power play is not too bad either.
21st. It's at 18.4.
Okay.
They're not scoring. 2.2 last. Goals against 3.2, 24th in the league. They're an enigma wrapped in a riddle this year. But I wonder, because you look at some of the ages of these guys, and man, those contracts just turn into anchors. They have to find a way to. I think they will be huge sellers by even before that.
But it's what can you sell? That's the question. Like, okay, Philip Forsberg's 30. I don't think they're getting rid of him, but he's 8.5 till 2030.
Yeah,
and he's got full no move. You got Steven Stamkos, who's 24. He's signed until 2028. He's $8 million with the no move. You've got Jonathan Marchessault at 33. He's 5.5. He's got a no move. Puckpedia says no move, but also a 15-team no trade list.
Yeah,
he's UFA till 2029. I don't know how many people are going to want to be coming to bail out the Nashville Predators.
Well, and then there'd have to be retention too, right? For sure. I mean, even Ryan O'Reilly, 33 years old, not a huge cap hit. Probably that's the most movable deal, you would think, just because of his salary.
So over this upcoming year, the Preds have 3 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. They have picks that either you have that for a full rebuild or picks you can use to try to flip some of these guys around.
They're going to need them because it doesn't look good, and no sign of turning it around. Like, they're getting blown out of the water in games. UC Saros, it's fascinating to me that they can't pull this together. Because I you know, you look at things in the summer. I've said this before, that I thought, you know what, this could be a Western Conference final with these moves. Like, they have that blueprint, right? The duos, Marchessault, Stamkos, Forsberg, what have you, and then you have the perennial Norris Trophy winner in Yossi, and you have again in goal with Soros, a potential Vezina Trophy winner as well. It just.
They pushed the Canucks well last year in that first round. They got a surprise, they got hot at the end to get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
They then pushed the Canucks rather well. And you think with all these additions, like, okay, well, here you go. They're just going to take the next step.
So
and they've taken a step for sure.
Do you think
Strong way.
GMs, is it a little bit too premature that they made these moves? And I'm looking at the Oilers and the Predators in this situation, where if you look at that playoff series, you could kind of say they just didn't have enough firepower. So what do? They go out and get the perceived firepower to push them over that hump. Same thing kind of with the Oilers. And I think a lot of attention was put on those last few games where Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid went pointless. So now they get the extra scoring. But that's great in that scenario, but not over the whole season. And
I look at the Preds a little more going like it's NHL video game GM mode. There's these free agents. I'm just going to sign as many of the top free agents as I can, and it's got to work.
Yeah.
But to your point, like there's the chemistry in the room. There's the mix, the chemistry on the ice.
Yeah.
And there's a difference to that. And I think just Barry Trotz, he's never been a GM before. And I think he just went swinging, and
he looked at it as a coach would.
Maybe that's what it is, yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, you're always at the end of the year, especially for the Oilers, there was, everything was right away. They didn't even have a lot of time to do that kind of full forensic audit kind of thing before, like, free agency was right on, the draft was the next day. Like, they just didn't have, and I mean, I'm sure there was discussions, but they don't have a GM. Ken Holland's a dead man walking. They're probably not even consulting him at anything.
Which it always found it was weird to me. they didn't have a GM figured out in place. Like, I just thought that there was someone in-house that they were just going to promote. The fact that they went, like, if you know you're walking away from a GM, you should probably have someone in place to be ready for free agency.
Yeah, maybe they did, but I've said it. I didn't like how they let Ken Holland go. I thought I didn't see the need to go look somewhere else aside from Jeff Jackson wanting to put his own guy in place.
But then you make that move. You make that move in like January of this year, like going into before a trade deadline this past year or something. If you don't trust a GM to be your GM, don't let them finish out.
Because
I've always the moment you don't trust your general manager is the moment that you need to move on from them, and you need to go hire who you do trust.
Because hindsight's always 20/20, but looking at it, the most important signings going into this season was to try to get Broberg and Holloway done before you went looking elsewhere.
How's your candle going?
Oh, I had to plug in my computer because it was dying. But
I could have plugged it in over here for you.
It's still warm. It's doing it.
Yeah, but so Gager is very kind to give me a cup warmer, which is very nice. But then we burn those candles, here, and Gager thought he just put his candle on there and let it melt.
Let it the fire.
I was really hoping it was going to work out and stuff. But I guess I'll have to wait and see after.
Sorry, I ran out
that's
of
fine,
juice, man.
That's all good. That's all good. Yeah, your computer runs out pretty quick.
It does. It's an oldie but a goodie.
Prediction for tonight. You got one? You got a feeling?
I think this is going to be another one of the games that we saw the other night. Just there's going to be chances. There's going to be good goaltending. It's whoever makes those cross ice from the hash marks, trying to make 100-foot passes. Don't give the other team anything. Who can limit those the most? I think that's what it's going to come down to.
GCL Diesel Ulstrom pregame show. Tommy Hernan, Gager, they'll get you set for the game. 5:30 right here at Edmonton Sports Talk. That means a little bit of an abbreviated edition of the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. They'll be on from 3 until 5:30. But up next, from 1 until 3, it is EST Afternoons with Hernan and Gager. On the show, you guys will be talking some San Francisco 49ers. You got Red Light District, as well as Preston Hodgkinson from the Daily Hive, Edmonton Oilers reporter. They'll further get you set for Oilers Wild. Travis Dermott placed on waivers today. Cal Pricker getting the start in net for the Edmonton Oilers. We're expecting, right now, that Dusty will be in for the morning show tomorrow. So just getting that little extra rest for the boys. Gager, this was fun, as always.
Awesome, buddy. Thank you.
We just keep crushing it for this building.
Yeah.
Everyone's lucky to have us around here. On behalf of Gager, I'm Matt. Thanks for tuning in to Two Guys and a Goalie, presented by GS Construction. As I've said, EST Afternoons with Hernan and Gager. Coming up in just a few minutes right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Don't go anywhere.